Facebook. We're live back again at Consensus 2017, and I'm here with Sam Lee, the founder of Blockchain Global. And that's not all you do, right? Tell us a little bit more about what you do.
Well, we focus primarily on education before innovation. Blockchain is a new technology that is very little understood by the general public. And that is why we have Mr. Bitcoin here, Bob Bitcoin.
Also a very special guest with us here at the conference.
Absolutely. We also have a female version, Mrs. Bitcoin, called Alice, and Alice and Bob are actually mined from the Melbourne Blockchain Centre, a 600 square metre space that is purpose-built and is the world's first knowledge hub around blockchain technology established in 2014. We focus on education before innovation because ultimately that's what's creating an ecosystem.
So we've been asking everybody to explain this technology to us like we were in 5th grade. But you have actually taken it a little step further and written a book that explains this technology to an 8-year-old, right? Please show us the book, tell us a little bit more about that.
Sure. So this book is Crypto Poetry for Jess. My daughter, who's turning 8 next month, is it's dedicated to her and her little sister, Melinda and Marita. So we have here Jess talking about how the banks are obviously great, but there are always issues. So the outcome is the little book introduces all the other cryptocurrencies, such as Steemit, Dogecoin. We try to keep it light and funny, and obviously this isn't financial advice.
So, pro tip, do not take financial advice from a children's book.
Yes.
But do glean some of the bigger lessons from that. So what can you tell us a little bit about, for people who want to get introduced to this technology, how to get involved? What do you usually tell them besides handing them the book?
Excellent. Well, it's not as hard as you think it is. It is essentially just a database structure that has a couple of attributes which makes it very unique, and that is, it is immutable, which creates transparency. So the ultimate paradigm shift that blockchain will bring is a disruption in many of the legacy ecosystems. But we see education being a key driver, and that is why our goal is to establish a blockchain center in every major city there possible. So if you are looking to help us in that process, go to blockchain center. We've spelt with a R-E at the end.
Yes.
Because, Australia.
All of our Australia fans, please give us a like. Yes,
that's right.
Say hello.
That's right. Blockchain Center, spelt with an re.com.au. And just drop us a note. We'd really like to see how we could collaborate, as we have great relationship with our corporate sponsor IBM and obviously our company Blockchain Global that I'm the CEO of to promote, fund and launch these initiatives.
So you guys are here all the way from Melbourne, Australia,
yes,
to little New York City for this conference that I would not call little because it's huge. There's so many people, vendors, amazing speakers just like yourself, attendees. And so how did you come here from Australia? What drove you to come all the way across to New York?
Well, ultimately, it's the great outcome we've achieved with our associations we work with to enable the Australian government on a number of levels to really back and promote and listen to the distributed technology / blockchain ecosystem as a whole. We strongly, firmly believe that this technology can make whichever city or country that puts the right frameworks in place to become the next Silicon Valley. And that is why we work tirelessly with regulators to enable a friendly, do-no-harm blockchain ecosystem in Australia driven by knowledge hubs such as blockchain centers.
So that transitions nicely into what blockchain actually, your foundation actually does, your company. So tell us a little bit about how you got started, because it's not, where you ended up is not necessarily where you started, right?
Absolutely. So I got involved in Bitcoin when it was only $2. the opportunity of...
That's pretty incredible.
That's pretty lucky. Because I didn't even know what Bitcoin was. It was just lunch money from one of my developers. He forgot his wallet.
Now we have to say, now you have to explain how you got involved without knowing.
Yeah, well, he forgot his lunch money, and I paid, and he then gave me some digits on a screen, and I simply forgot about it until 2012, when it's gone up to over $20.
Did you get like an email or an alert, like, hey, by the way?
Oh. You know who you are. You were my alert, and I'm not naming names because I know you want to stay anonymous. Anyways, that perked my interest. We got involved in Bitcoin initially through arbitrage. And back then, the markets were relatively illiquid. In 2013, we raised some capital and then essentially made spreads through the multiple exchanges. And we continue that to this day. In addition to that, because arbitrage is only one of the aspects, we also, in 2014, started our mining facilities in China that specializes in blockchain auditing services. Beyond that, we also enabled a number of opportunities in the blockchain center by, in 2015-16, creating an accelerator program that we've invested in over a dozen startups across Australia, US, and in China as well.
That's pretty incredible. What have you noticed has changed over the years? Because 5 years ago in this industry is still pretty much on we're still in the early stages, so that's like prenatal almost. So what have you noticed has really changed in the last 5 years, and what are you excited about for the next 5?
Well, I just believe that consensus, which is organized by CoinDesk and NASDAQ is an integral part of, is taking this industry to the next level. Because this is one of the leading blockchain conferences in the world, and in partnership with Austrade and the Australian government, we are lucky enough to be a part of a delegation to to New York, from Australia, of course, where we've got sponsored over 38 individuals from a number of companies across Australian blockchain ecosystem to be a part of Consensus 2017. And that's what brings us here, because it's good to see the government backing us and backing the ecosystem and believing in the future.
Yeah, that's huge. So speaking of the future, what are you so excited about? What have you learned recently? What kind of trends are you seeing that you're like, that's going to keep that fuel for your motivation to keep going?
Oh, well, ultimately, I fell into this ecosystem accidentally, and I'm just a true believer in education at the end of the day. I have an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old, and they are my pride and joy. So for me, it's important to ensure that the future generations understand blockchain so that they are better equipped to deal with the technological challenges that they will face when it's their turn to step up.
It's definitely a different kind of mind shift, right? Especially if you're not used to understanding these kinds of concepts.
Absolutely. A world without trusted third party, distributed autonomous organizations, it's scary. But scary. It's only scary.
It can be if you don't understand.
Sure, that's right. And that's what I'm trying to get at. It's scary if you don't know. And from my point of view, to the uneducated, Bitcoin is just magic internet money. We see a lot more in the underlying technology that will accelerate the growth of this economy and increase the transparency and obviously root out corruption. So we're really excited about where this industry can take us, but the future is unknown, and it feels like I'm a part of this one big experiment called life.
Yes. So if I am in my 20s right now, which I'm not, but if I was, and I wanted to get involved in Bitcoin and understand it a little bit better, what's your advice to people out there who are just maybe getting their first job out of college, or maybe just getting that first bonus check, and they're like, what do I do with this? Should I jump in, or what advice would you give them?
Sure. Okay. Well, I'm not here to offer financial advice,
Yes,
and therefore,
disclaimer.
invest what you could only lose, what you could afford to lose. But for young people out there, 4 years ago, I was just a project manager, a technical project manager working at a digital agency. From my point of view, this industry creates heroes because ultimately there is no one out there that is more braver than to put their hand up and say, I'm up for the challenge in changing the world and being a part and creating an industry. And for young people out there, I'm just saying, look, if you want to climb the corporate ladder, fine, but this is the industry to be in if you don't. Because this is a truly global industry that you can be a part of and be a subject matter expert within months, right? Within months. Because within months, you will know more about blockchain than 99.9% of the world out there, and that puts you in a position of power.
Well, that's very nicely said, and something that note that we can wrap on. And thank you so much for sharing your story, and also sharing this information in a way that makes it so tangible and understandable, so that it is a safe first step to take. I mean, look how soft and squishy this guy is. So you're taking something that is seemingly very scary and revolutionary and making it so relatable to a wider audience. So thank you for that.
Not a problem. And if you want to download a free copy of this book, just Google Crypto Poetry, Blockchain for Jess, and it should be at the very top. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining us here live at Consensus, and stay tuned for more coverage.
See ya.